So, White Tigers is this really interesting story that mixes fantasy with reality. It's part of Maxine Hong Kingston's childhood, which is the author. It's part of her imagination, where she dreams about being Famulan, the legendary woman warrior we all know. Instead of just telling the traditional story, Kingston, the author, makes it personal, like she's experiencing it firsthand. The passage takes us through Mulan's intense training. She follows a mysterious bird into the mountains and ends up at a magical hut where an old couple lives. They give her a choice. She can either go home and live a simple life or stay and become a warrior. And of course, she chooses to stay. That's where the real journey begins. At first, her training isn't about fighting at all, it's about patience. For example, she has to sit completely still for hours or blending into nature until animals trust her. Once she masters that, she moves on to physical training. She learns how to step with precision, walk with power, and even control every part of her body. Over the years, she becomes very strong. She can jump 20 feet in the air, run alongside deer, and even control her eye movements. She's no longer just a girl, she's the warrior the old couple wanted her to be. So she's completely in sync with the world around her. But what's really interesting is how nature plays a huge role in her training, right? So the old couple doesn't just teach her how to fight, they teach her how to observe, how to move like an animal, how to use the environment to her advantage. It's not just about strength, it's about awareness and control. By the end of it all, Mulan is basically unstoppable. But there's one thing she can't do. She can't fly like the bird that led her there. That's something she can only do in her dreams, which is kind of poetic. No matter how powerful she becomes, there are still limits to being human. What makes this passage so powerful is that it's not just about training, it's about transformation. Mulan doesn't just learn how to fight, she finds her purpose in life. She goes from an ordinary girl to a warrior who fights for justice in her town. And that's what makes her story so legendary.
What motivates the old couple to train Han Yulan to become the woman warrior?
The old couple sees potential in Mulan and wants her to fight against the corrupt baron who's oppressing her people. She doesn't just like the old couple doesn't just train anyone. They see something in Mulan, maybe her determination, maybe faith, but they know she's the right person for this. As I said before, the world they live in isn't fair. The Locambarian is exploiting the people, stealing their harvest, and making life miserable. Someone needs to stand up to him, and they believe Mulan can be that person. But instead of just throwing her into trading, they give her a choice. They're like, look, you can go home and live a normal life, or you can stay and become a warrior. No pressure, right? But the moment Mulan chooses to stay is like she proves she's serious. She's not just looking for an adventure. She's ready to fight for something bigger than herself. They also talk about how she will be remembered by the Han people. It's not just about revenge. It's about theory, justice, and I think honor. The old couple isn't just training a fighter. They are really shaping a legend.
Describe and explain the different stage of ambulance training.
Okay, so Mulan doesn't just pick up a sword and start fighting. Her training is a slow, step-by-step process that turns her into the warrior. The first lesson, shut up and be still. The old woman tells her, if you are noisy, the deer won't drink water. So she sits by a stream for hours, just watching, learning to blend in. Eventually, animals start trusting her. Squirrels bury food near her, and mice just chill around her. That's when she knows she's getting good, she's learning. The step number two is where the real physical training begins. She spends her days moving in patterns based on Chinese characters, like writing with her body. She learns to step with her heel down first, toes out, knees bent. Everything is super precise. She practices a square step, which is this powerful, deliberate walk that warriors use in battle. In the step 3 is where things get a little bit crazier. After years of training, Mulan's body becomes insanely strong, very strong. She can literally control her movements, which is wild. She starts running alongside deer. Running with them, not behind them. She even learns to jump 20 feet in the air from a standstill. At this point, she's basically a superhero. The final stage is the step number 4. She doesn't just use nature, she becomes part of it. Birds land on her hand and she controls her muscles in a way that keeps them from flying away. She understands animals so well that she moves like them, fights like them. Even I think she thinks like them. But here's the twist. She still can't fly like the bird that led her to the mountains. That's the one thing she can only do in her dreams, which is kind of poetic, I think. Even after all this training, she's still human.
How does the old couple use nature to teach Hanulan how to fight?
Nature is basically Mulan's ultimate teacher. The old couple doesn't just train her with weapons. They train her by making her study the world around her. She spends hours just observing. How do deer move? How do owls hunt? How do bats disappear into the night? Every animal has a skill and she learns to copy them. She trains from sunrise to sunset, literally watching her shadow change throughout the day. This helps her understand movement, positioning, and time. She practices stepping so lightly that she doesn't even disturb the ground beneath her. That means she can sneak up on enemies without making any sound. She gets so in tune, she syncs with the environment at that point that animals no longer see her as a threat. Birds trust her, deer accept her, even small creatures don't run away from her. That level of connection, it's what makes her the warrior she wanted to be. So the training isn't just about fighting, it's about understanding the balance of the world and using it to her advantage.
How does the physical training contribute to Hanulan's well-being and sense of purpose?
At the beginning, Mulan is just a regular girl who happens to follow a bird into the mountains. But by the end, she's completely transformed, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Her training gives her confidence. Imagine knowing you can outrun a deer, leap 20 feet into the air, and control your own eye movements. You will feel very strong, unstoppable. But it's not just about strength, it's about control. She learns patience, discipline, and strategy. More than anything, this training gives her purpose. She's no longer just reacting to life. I think she's choosing her way, her path. She's not fighting just because she can. She's fighting for justice, for her people, for something bigger than herself. That's what makes her more than just a warrior. She's more a leader.
How would you react if you had to undergo such a regular training program?
Honestly, at first, I probably hate it. Waking up and down, sitting still for hours, training all day, it will feel hard, impossible. But I don't think, I probably want to quit a million times. But if I stuck with it, I think it will change me completely. The idea of being able to move as ambulance, uh, all the things that I said before, that's insane. And the discipline, that's something that will carry into every part of my life. Also, imagine the level of peace you will have. No distractions, no noise, just you and nature. In today's world, we're always glued to our phones, rushing from one thing to the next. Training like this will force you to slow down, focus, and really be present. So, yeah, it will be very, very, very hard at first, but in the end, I think it will be one of the most rewarding experiences ever. I wouldn't just get stronger. I will become someone completely different, and I think that's worth it.